And we should be live. Alrighty. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Tonight we're doing a podcast. We're doing the topic about security guards, um, in their life and that. If you guys have any questions for us or want to add in to the conversation, let me turn this down real fast. Sorry. First responders always have to have their radios up. um,
Yeah.
be more than willing to jump into the Discord right here in the event channel. You have myself, and I'll let the other guy introduce himself real fast.
How's it going, guys? I'm Ben. I'm the server's lone and resident security guard, so this topic kind of is my experiences in what we're doing tonight. It's gonna be fun.
So, and to just kind of let you guys know, we did do a small little break in podcasts since why you guys haven't seen any. I have started a class called BFO, which is the Basic Exterior Fireman Operations class. And I've been extremely busy at my local fire department, getting all my tests and skills and getting extra help when needed. So I've been extremely busy, being that I am mostly the only person that has been doing these podcasts besides one other individual that normally is in, but she's currently taking some time away from Discord. This is going to be one of the things that we're going to work on. We're going to get right into this topic. I think this topic is kind of interesting. It's actually one of the most needed topics, I think, in my opinion, because we don't really talk much about security guys. We don't say on how much they are also a big part of being a first responder. And you can talk from your experience yourself, but in my personal, opinion, you guys also play a big part in, helping with the law enforcement getting some of the crooks when you guys are out and about.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. So the two experience, I have 3 different experiences in security. I've got a good experience. My first job. I've got a shit experience. Working as a retail loss prevention officer. That's one of the jobs where I will say anybody should at least try it once, but no more than once. It's a terrible field.
Uh,
And then the best experience by far for me has been working for my current company. I'm actually a security officer for Live Nation venues.
oh, nice.
So I do concerts
Oh,
mostly.
ooh, that has to be fun.
Oh, it is. And so actually talking about like you mentioned, yeah, we are kind of like the first line before officers get there at our venues. And I've got a story about that actually that happened one night that I was working.
Okay.
We we were on. I'm sure you know. You're a firefighter. You know. We were on skeleton crew that night at the Mercury.
Ooh.
We were. Oh, hello.
Well, hello there, Mr. Blue Ice Gaming. Welcome to the event.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm okay.
That's
You?
good. Not too bad, sir. Ben, go ahead and continue that story. Sorry about that. Just gotta make
Oh,
sure we
you
introduce
guys
some.
are fun. So what had happened is I was working the Four Horsemen show, which if you don't know who they are, they're a Metallica cover band, basically. They're a real good band. 10 out of 10. If you ever get a chance, I would recommend seeing them. But I was upstairs that night because I kind of got, it was, hey, open, you can go wherever you want kind of night, just so long as you're constantly on your radio and constantly doing your job that you have to do. I said, okay, cool. I'm going to go upstairs then because I want a chance to hear the show and everything, but there's no security up there, right? Yeah, no security. I said, okay, cool. I'll be VIP upstairs then. So what that entails is I make sure everybody has a green wristband. They're not drinking too much. That kind of stuff. Well, what had happened was we had stopped doing VIP upsells for the night. We had a group led by a man. They were all drunk. Come upstairs, and I told them, hey, look, guys, you can't be up here. If you want to be up here, you can go see our upsells guy. He might have spots left for y'all, but I don't know if he does or not. And he was drunk, so he got belligerent and said, well, you should tell your security guard, the idiots downstairs who are security, the people that aren't allowed to come up here without a green wristband. And I'm like, sir, that's not true. You can't come past the staircase without a green wristband, but you can get one. And he was just like starting to belittle me and my fellow coworkers, and I don't stand for that kind of stuff. So I looked at the upsells manager that night and I said, hey, Brian, follow them. I'll be behind you guys, but I'm going to be a ways back. I'm going to jump on my radio real quick. So I jumped on radio. I called for the operations manager that night, who's the supervisor who runs that venue. And I said, I also need Officers Morgan and Constable Andrews if you have them, because I need both. It's going to be that kind of situation. So Morgan's our corrections officer who's on standby, and then Constable Andrews, he's actually an elected official. He's the county constable for my area. So, we work hand in hand with these guys 9 times out of 10. They came up, we got rid of the guy, but it's one of those things where had he have swung, I've been told several times by my managers that if somebody swings on me, I have full permission to knock them the fuck out. Yeah. And nobody realizes that. Nobody realizes they're like, oh, security can't go hands-on unless you're armed security, da-da-da-da-da.
Bullcrap.
No, us unarmed guys go hands-on if we have to.
Absolutely.
Usually they have to justify it as self-defense.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's the way I've always been told, is if somebody swings on you, swing back.
Yep. Absolutely.
But make sure they can't get back up. So that's kind of one of those instances with that.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the one main thing that a lot of people don't understand is, yes, there's an ongoing joke, and I don't know if, you've heard of it or not, but, security guys being, mall cops or rent cops.
Yep.
I've heard it, and it pisses me the fuck off to no end. And
well, there are some security that is rent cops.
There are, and there is some security guards. And I know one personally. When I worked for the Louisville Bat Stadium, this guy, who was my supervisor for that venue or for that location, the way he carried himself, you could tell that he had failed the psych eval for the police force.
Oof.
He was one of those. Yeah, it was bad. But the reason that kind of thing irritates me is because there are some, but it's not all of us. This lovely lady I know because I know her sister, so I know her. She owns a security company out here called K&K, King and King Security. She actually works her ass off. She's a U of L campus police officer. She's going to U of L to get her master's in criminal justice. She's got a bachelor's in CJ, and she owns and operates the security company and is the main supervisor for right now.
Nice.
And she is law enforcement, too. So, she's one of those ones where if she had to, shit hits the fan, she could arrest somebody.
Right. Which is always good.
But
At least she can do her job effectively.
oh yeah, definitely. But so I want to hit on like the worst experience I had working security because obviously
Yeah,
I want to. It's those
absolutely.
policies thing.
Absolutely.
So I worked at Ross Dress for Less. Um, I was a loss prevention associate. Basically means I stood at the door and greeted customers, going in, going out. I responded to random like shoe alarms that were going off, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Um, 9 times out of 10 on my shift, because I usually was there till almost close, if not close. Maybe an hour or two before close, depending on the night. Uh, so I sat on the mall gate and kind of just watched everybody come in and out from the mall side. I think the only time I ever stopped a theft, and it was because they were foreign, and it's not me saying, oh, it's because they were foreign. No, it's because there was a language barrier. They couldn't understand me, and I could barely understand them. So they were like, we're good, we don't pay, because they were trying to take their card out. And Ross carts have a big metal pole on the top of them, so you can't take their shopping carts out of the store. Kind of the whole point of them. Which that was nice, but that's like the only like plus side to the store. So they tried to go out the mall gate. The pole hit the mall gate first foremost. Second of all, it the alarm went off, and I was like, "Hey, no, get back in there, go pay. We're not gonna play this shit. Go pay for your stuff." So I was radioed later on, and I was told I had stopped a theft of about $200.
Wow.
$200 in shoes, clothes, toys, that kind of stuff.
Oof.
Which that's impressive to think about.
Yeah.
But then let's see. I think the worst shift I worked was the night before I graduated high school. It was a Thursday night. My mom was coming into town. Then I hadn't seen my mom since my youngest nephew was born. Or my oldest nephew was born. And that's been about 6 years. So I hadn't seen her for about 6 years at that point. And her, my uncle, my sister, the boys, and my niece were all coming into town together to come watch me graduate. So they were texting me to try and figure out what time I got off shift and where it was I worked, because if they had been able to get there in time, they were going to come get me when my shift ended. It didn't work out that way, but this area supervisor, she's basically like the closing manager, kind of shift manager. I don't know what her issue was with me, but she had an issue with me. And so legitimately, I think I was doing facing. I was doing facing at the lady's shoes while also standing up front at the door, but apparently I was supposed to be on the door the whole time. It was annoying, and so about 7:57. This is on a Thursday night, 7:57. She looks at me and she goes, "If you walk away from that one more time, we're gonna have an issue." And I was like, "Hey, back up out my face, please, please, get out of my face, get out of my face." And I'd like it to be known that at the time I had a duty belt on me because that's how I carried my radio, and I had another pocket on there. I had a knife pouch because I always carried, especially at night in that area of town that I was in. It was terrible.
Right.
So I always had a knife. And so I kept telling her, please get out of my face, please get out of my face. And I guess I didn't even realize it, but on instinct, my thumb had flicked open my knife case.
Ooh.
So my knife holster was open and my thumb was resting on my fingers, kind of like resting on my knife, like, please stop, get out of my face. She got out of my face, walked off, went go talk to another LP associate, told me that I could go home, and I said, okay, fine. She's like, just be told you're gonna have to come in on Saturday, and I said, okay. I know I'm supposed to work Saturday. She's like, expect a meeting with Lisa on Saturday, and I said, okay, whatever. If I decide to fucking go, I'm spending time with family.
Right.
I had just graduated. I'm going to spend my time with my family, and so they I graduate. I go into. This is how badass it was and funny for me, because they had a strict. You had to be in black dress pants, black polo shirt, no, black button down, fucking earpiece, vest. You know, it was hot.
Right.
We were coming on summer. It was boiling. So and this all happened May of last year. So that's why it's so fresh in my mind and it's so funny to me. I walked in, I was wearing blue jeans because it had been raining. I was wearing blue jeans, a t-shirt, a hoodie. My knife was on my belt loop, and boots because I was going fishing. I was legitimately gonna go fishing after the meeting, no matter what. I didn't give a fuck. And the manager was like, "Look, you're being fired for being disrespectful." And I said, "Okay, I'm being fired and blacklisted, and I got blacklisted from that company too, which no big deal. I don't want to work for them ever again anyway after that specific manager. But it's like, you're going to fire me for disrespect but not talk to your area supervisor about getting up in people's faces
Wow.
for shit." And keep in mind, this is a store that I had actually called the corporate helpline on twice for issues.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I called the ethics line 2 different times for issues. So, after that, I left that company. After I left that company, I started working at actual security venues. I started out at Slugger Field, which working in baseball season, that's actually kind of fun. I enjoyed working baseball. You get to meet a lot of cool people. I've actually met Ron White's brother-in-law, Alex, because they have that tequila company together, Number One. I've met Alex Raimundo, and I have pictures with him on my phone.
Nice.
And then through that job, actually a guy that I met who worked at that job was telling me that the Palace was hiring. That Palace and Mercury needed more security staff. And so I applied to that one, got on there, and and then from there, that last October, actually, I'll be going on a year with this company in July. Last October, Ron White performed at our venue. I have a picture on my phone with Ron White.
Nice.
So I've met them. I've met both of them. Doing that job, you kind of get to meet a lot of cool people.
Oh yeah.
But so the different venue policies. Let's, because that's kind of the main thing. Different policies for different companies, venues, and all that. So what I found is actual security companies like Venue, CSC, Best Crowd, Live Nation, K&K, companies like those that are actual security companies, or like Live Nation is concert company, but their security guards,
Yeah.
have policies that they follow. They will let their guards do what they have to do if the situation arises to defend themselves.
Oh,
Like,
that's great though. In general, being able to defend yourself when needed.
oh yeah,
That is awesome.
shit. I told the manager of the Live Nation, the guy who's like the senior operations manager, so he's the operations manager over Mercury and Palace, kind of. I was telling him, I was like, dude, look, I want to be honest with you. I've done a lot of security contracts for companies where I could not go hands on. Um, if a guest swings on me, what do I do in that situation? And he said, fight back if you have to. Call for backup, but fight back.
Absolutely.
And I said, okay.
Great to be able to do.
Yeah. And so and this is a story about said operations manager about how hands-on we're allowed to go. Because it's funny. Ron White, we were working that show. I was upstairs and some guy was drunk. He was belligerent. He was he was being mean to at the time the VIP upsells manager who actually left the company and is doing his own thing now. Was being really disrespectful, and so he called for security. Well, I was upstairs being an usher, but I'm still classified as security, so I was still able to go. So I came out, and him and I were we were trying to figure it out. Guy takes off. Trey, the guy calls for more security. A big dude and my operations manager, who's another big dude, came up the stairs, went into the bathroom where this guy was hiding, grabbed him, and drug him, and like fucking carried him out of the venue to the police waiting downstairs.
Damn.
And we had given him chances that he could just give over and it was all over us cutting him off of alcohol. Like, we told him, dude, you can stay and enjoy the show, just stop drinking, please. This is all we ask. And he just didn't want to do it, so he got dragged out.
Damn.
But, so companies like those, I've noticed they have a hands-on policy if you need it. Companies that don't generally are theme parks, retail asset protection,
Right.
hotel security, those kind of things. They don't let you guys go hands-on.
Nope. And hello, there's,
Right.
in the chat.
Not even in the set.
Not a whole lot. We're going through a topic here about security guards. Feel free, if you'd like, you can jump into the Discord. And again, we do have Ben here as the security guard personnel. One of the only people that we do have within the Discord that's trained for security guard. We also do have Blue Ice Gaming in here as well. Blue Ice, would you mind dropping the invite link that's in the description for the Discord?
Sure.
Thank you, good sir.
And actually, speaking about, being trained for being security, here, probably after next December, after I turn 21, I'm going for my armed guard card.
Nice.
So I'll be fully more so licensed to be able to handle more different situations.
Nice.
And for anybody who's curious what the difference between why an armed guard card would be needed, in my state of Kentucky, you don't have to have an armed guard card. It depends on your city. Louisville is the only city in the state of Kentucky to require you to have an armed guard card. Which, basically, armed guard card means I can carry a concealed firearm, or a firearm visible on my body, and use it if the situation so arises that I have to. Which, that's every guy's dream hope, is that nothing happens, You don't want to have to do it. But, if you have to, you can act. That being stated, I know my state is also one of the few states besides Texas and a couple of others that I can't think of that now has, once you turn 21, you don't have to get a CCW you don't have to get a CCDW or a concealed carry deadly weapons permit to conceal carry in our state anymore.
Nice.
So, legitimately, the only thing stopping me from being an armed guard in my city is the fact that I have to go get the armed guard card. So, and speaking as somebody who's worked at a theme park before, I've done theme park security. I know the ins and outs. A lot of people have asked me after the fact about like some of the rules, and they're like, "Is it true?"
Hello, Sam.
Welcome, Sam. We are live on YouTube, just to let you know, sir.
Okay, so don't say anything stupid. Got it.
Hello there, Mr. Style in the chat as well. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry about that.
No, you guys are fine. So everybody's like, certain rules they ask me, they're like, are they actually true, and why are they this way? So one of the rules we had, and this was an interesting one to me, was no outside food or drink unless it is a medical thing. So, and the legitimate main reason for that is they want you to spend money in the park. But it's a safety concern too. So the main, like, we don't know who has what allergies, you know. But if you're allergic to anything or whatever, and you have specific, or like, you know, you're diabetic or whatever, or you're a small child and you're on formula, you can go to the help desk right inside the main gates and go talk to somebody and get everything approved. Another question I got asked a lot was, is it true that you have to pull everything out of somebody's backpack? Yes. When we are when you see the guards that are at the front gate doing bag checks and all that, at least this was pre-COVID times too, so everything's different now anyway, and that's interesting too. We used to go into the bags. We'd pull out everything. What we were checking for, the main three contraband: food, guns, and knives were the three things we checked for. And I had people follow up with me and be like, so did you ever find anything in there? And I was like, yeah. I found knives. Several times I've found knives.
Oof.
And we had to tell them, you have to take your knife back out to your car. We cannot let you in with it. Or you can throw it away. It's your only two options. But one of the most, like, asinine, insane rules that we as public safety officers, because we were called PSOs, public safety officers, that we had to enforce and we ourselves had to follow. And if we didn't follow it, it was bullshit what would have happened. You're not allowed to run in the park. At least at Kentucky Kingdom, you are not allowed to run. We tell guests not to run. We can't run.
Yeah, that's a safety issue there.
That is a safety issue, but the fact of the matter is if you're responding to a fight call, which we couldn't do shit anyway till cops got there, but you're responding to a guest being argumentative with a what is it?
Spouse?
With a staff member, like a ride operation,
Okay.
ride operations member or whatever, we couldn't run. Like, if it was, we weren't allowed to run. And if we ran, we were likely to be fired for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of screwed up in my terms.
That's the part that's, that's the what the fuck bullshit part. I'll never forget this call because it was a really weird and interesting call for me. My actual first shift, I was supervising, or I was shadowing somebody, and we were in the water park area. So we were in Hurricane Bay. So this was at Kentucky Kingdom. We were in Hurricane Bay. We had a call about somebody stealing drinks. Like, legitimately arguing with somebody and not paying for the drinks. Or getting water cups and filling them up with soda. But they were being argumentative and disrespectful with the food stand worker. So we got called out. We found the group. We talked to the group. This legitimately ended up being a situation where we had 2 supervisors, and police escort these people out. And 3 of them almost ended up in fucking cuffs and tased. That's how bad they were running their mouths and starting shit. I had to write a narrative report on that, by the way. That was fun. And that took me to the end of my shift. But those 3 people got permanently banned. Their season passes revoked, and they were permanently banned from Kentucky Kingdom. It was more so that being disrespectful to, like, security staff and trying to start shit with us and almost ending up going out in cuffs that they got full banned.
Wow.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Go for it, sir.
You might already answer this before I came in, but between pre-COVID and after COVID, what is the major points that has changed?
So, major points, actually, I haven't hit on this, but the major points that have changed is our hands-on policies and our bag check policies. I know that at my venue, now we're requiring clear plastic bags. Like, you have to have a clear purse, or your purse has to be no bigger than, say, the palm of your hand or a small clutch. And the reason for that is, with the clear bags, we don't have to open up your bag. We can just shine our flashlight at your bag and look through it that way. But when pre-COVID, when we weren't doing plastic bags, we'd have to stick our flashlight down into the bag, and occasionally stick our hand in there to feel around to make sure there wasn't, weapons.
Yeah.
So that's honestly been one of the biggest changes for us. I know a lot of the older guys they're able to do it, but they still struggle with it every now and again, and that's why we're a full clear bag only venue, because it's easier for us. But that and like I said, the regular hands-on policies changed a lot. Or like the admittance policy. Now, it depends on the band. Honest to God, it does. One night I was working Glass Animals and Cannibal Corpse, back-to-back same show, or back-to-back 2 different venues, same company, same start times. So, Glass Animals, you had to have your vaccine cards or proof of a negative COVID test to get in. And so my job was, yelling out for the people to have those. And then at Cannibal, while I was outside for a bit, I was just wanding people as they went in. I wasn't even, I was checking I was making sure they had tickets, but I wasn't even checking Vax cards. It all, honest to God, depends on A, the venue, and B, the artist, what the artist wants to do. Cannibal Corpse is known for not giving two fucks about anything, and that's just the way they are. But some of these other guys, like who was it that was there? Someone was there, and the tour, and at this point we weren't having a mask. We didn't have our mask policy. The tour was wearing masks, and they didn't want anybody not wearing masks interacting with them.
That's understandable.
That's understandable given this day and age, but still, you got to think about some of these policies where we're so used to doing it our way, and now everything's changed, and we have to kind of like follow this new precedent set. But that's definitely pre-COVID to COVID times. That's kind of been like one of the biggest things that I have had to get used to. Of course, another thing that I've had to get used to was, and I don't have to do it anymore, was wearing a mask and effectively communicating while on an earpiece.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys who are firefighters, you know, with your shoulder mics and all that, you know how much of a pain in the ass it is.
Oh yeah.
With the earpiece, the mic is smaller depending on the earpiece. So you have to. I had to unclip my earpiece from my shirt where it usually sits, and I had to put it up against like kind of like my kind of close to my face and go into the radio that way.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'll say this now. Yeah, depending on the venue, I still have to do that, or not as bad. But it's not as bad. It's, you know, there's no mask.
Okay, I was going to ask you a question on that. Could you not clip your mic to your mask?
No. The way the radio, because the way the earpiece is set up, for this company is it's two different wires. So I kind of had to have the back of my earpiece pieces connected to my shirt, but it was also kind of connected to my mask. I could have with my neck gaiter that I always wore, but somebody wearing a regular mask, no, they could not have. Because of the way the mask is designed, it would tear a hole in the mask.
Oh, okay.
It's all the way the earpiece is designed and the way the mask is. It's like if you're not in a formal kind of shirt, you don't want to wear an earpiece because it looks fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Working at the Mercury, I don't get that option. Because if I don't wear an earpiece, I can't hear a goddamn lick of anything that's said to me, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, would I rather look stupid and be able to hear, or not look stupid and a fight happens and I can't get there? But
well, if you can't run, then you have a fight, and you screwed anyhow.
well, not with the company I work for now. I work for.
That was Sam leaving.
Yeah, I work for Live Nation now.
Okay.
I'm allowed to move as quick as I need to move to get to where I need to get to. Plus that, and concert goes usually metalheads, because I myself am a metalhead. When I'm working at the Mercury, and this happened at Cannibal Corpse, I've had to get up to the barricade. So what we do is we'll tap people and we'll be like, "Hey guys, start making a way, please. Make a way, make a way, make a way, make a way." You know, if you've ever served in the military, you know this thing. Or if you've been around a military member, you know this saying. Make a hole, make it wide. That's kind of I love using that phrase. Because I'll just go, hey, make a hole. Let me get through, please. Come on. I gotta get to wherever I'm going.
Yeah, I had to use that several times in my services.
Exactly. But working at the palace, because the palace has seats and all that, it's easier to maneuver that there as well. Say compared to working at the Mercury Ballroom. When I work at the Mercury and it's a sold out show, it's usually there's standing room only on the bottom, and then there's VIP seats upstairs, and occasionally general audience seats. So it's legitimately, if I'm downstairs and I gotta get to this location, I actually have to push through people.
Ooh.
And they're looking around going, who the fuck just pushed me? And then they see the guy standing there in the security shirt wearing an radio and an earpiece, and they're like, oh, sorry man, I didn't realize we were in your way. And I'm like, nah, y'all are good. I just gotta get to wherever I'm going. Definitely another thing that's different about working at the Mercury, mosh pits for certain bands.
Ooh.
Nobody talks about what the security guards do during a mosh. So Cannibal Corpse, mosh pit. Our job was make sure they don't throw fists, number one, but mine and this other guy's job, our main job was make sure they don't mosh into the sound equipment.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good at all.
No, you mosh into the sound equipment and break the sound equipment, fucking show's done. There's no more show.
Yeah. Mainly being that all sound equipment that I've actually dealt with, because I used to be a sound tech myself. I know this for a fact. Sound equipment's not fucking cheap.
No, that ain't.
No,
It
it's
is not
not.
easy to even repair. I haven't had to repair any of my equipment personally, but I've heard of people that have. That shit's not easy.
No, and the other thing, think about this. You just destroyed the equipment for a band that is on fucking tour. That's even worse.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
now they gotta postpone their tour to figure out what the fuck they're gonna do. But that's, mosh pits. That's one of the biggest things is we as security, we're not gonna break up your mosh pit unless fists are being thrown. And you're actively fighting. So, we're not gonna go in and fucking, oh, these guys are moshing. They can't do that. Fuck this. Let's stop them. No.
Let them have fun.
We're not going to do that. Exactly. Unless we have a sign outside or the artist states at the start of the show that they don't want people moshing. And then we're going to enforce that.
Yeah.
Because that's coming from the artist. But, so, moshing. That's always, everybody's always like, have you had to deal with it? No. I myself personally have not had to get into a mosh pit to deal with a fight. I've gotten close a couple of times, so I'm kind of lucky in that regards that nothing happened. The other big one, crowd surfers. Everybody's always like, oh, crowd surfers, how do you guys handle that? 2 to 3 other security guards with us when we support the neck like they are a baby. Because if we fuck up that, actually, well, we're trying to get out of buffering. That gives me enough time to go and shoot this link to someone so that way she can watch.
Okay. It should be back online again. The members that are in the chat, if you guys can hear me, let me know if we're back.
From what I'm saying, you're back.
Okay.
Copy. Perfect. So, like I said, I went to Louder Than Life. I was... What's up?
Really?
Zeno said, yeah, smoking killed the stream.
Yeah, fuck off.
He ain't really smoking, he's vaping.
No, I'm
And I'm
the one
not
that's
even
smoking.
vape. He smoke. Yeah, I was gonna say 100 over there smoking. I'm not even hitting nicotine. This is fucking Delta 8. This is a molecule off of weed. I'm getting high. That's why this is more fun, more enjoyable for me to retell my horror stories, because I'm high.
But as you were saying, so I had to answer the chat real fast.
Um. So I went to, like I said, I went to Louder Than Life during Fever 333. They're a awesome band. I love them. Their music's great. During their set, we had crowd surfers. Well, one crowd surfer did something wrong, and I got hit in the head kind of as they were going across me. And when I got hit, I kind of fucked up my ankle
Oof.
because it hit my head, and so I kind of fucked up my ankle. Of course, I didn't know I had fucked up my ankle till the next day. So I got to the venue that day, the next day, and it got so bad that I had my buddy's friend, who she's now kind of my friend. She had to walk me down to the medical tent to get me checked out. So they had to wrap my ankle and give me some painkillers because I had fucked up my ankle. And they told me that if on Sunday, if my ankle wasn't better and I went back to the med tent, they were going to ambulance me to the hospital.
Ooh.
Because that's how badly I had fucked it up. But yeah, so crowd surfing isn't just dangerous for the people that are doing it. It's dangerous for all of us involved. Us security guards, it's dangerous. The other members of the crowd, it's dangerous. You know,
Oh,
as
yeah,
a security,
absolutely. I've never seen crowd surfers myself, but I'm sure that it's pretty rough. Mainly the guys that are like bigger, heavier set, like myself, for instance. It definitely has to be rough on a lot of people.
it is. So, you know, that's why as a security guard, if we notice a crowd surfer, the guard that noticed it first, if you've ever seen it, if you get a chance to, he will go like this, basically signaling to the other two that are on the other side of him, get the fuck over here. Crowd surfer. I've seen, and the other fun part for me for being at Louder Than Life, as an off-duty security guard, and I being as close to the barriers as I was most of the time, I got to watch how those security guards react to the crowd surfers. The bigger, stronger dudes, they cradle the crowd surfer to their chest like a baby.
Oh yeah.
And you're talking a 6-foot, fully grown adult man getting cradled to his chest like a baby by a 6'6", 220-pound black man. It's funnier than fuck to me. I laughed.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing wrong. And I want to make this disclaimer real fast before we go any further. We are not going to discriminate on any color here.
Oh no, exactly.
This here is all informational, and we are more than willing, if anyone has any issues with what is being said, let us know. We can, kind of change gears a little bit here, guys. We're not trying to discriminate against anyone. We're not, pointing fingers, anything of that nature. So please, understand that as well, guys.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying from my experiences as an off-duty guard and as a guard, the kind of people that I work with. And these guys are great friends of mine, and they're people that I can sit there and talk to and just kind of go, yeah, definitely one of my favorite guys that I interact with on a daily basis when I'm working security. I mentioned him earlier, actually, Officer Morgan and Constable Andrews. They're both people of color, the best way I can put it. They are both, they're both great friends of mine. I love talking with them when I can. But it's one of those big things where it's like, oh, you know, what are you gonna do if something happens and that officer you don't have a report is there? And I'm like, I'll call the next officer. Best of my ability, I got to deal with the situation. It doesn't matter who it is. I have to deal with the situation no matter what.
Exactly, and correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't security guys in most venues, aren't they held to a higher standard in that?
We all,
Meaning they, if anything is to, you know, arise, you guys are to act professionally and quickly to de-escalate the situation.
oh, definitely 110% at all times we are. And you know, there are some guards that don't do this, and these aren't people that I've worked with or that I've worked with. These are people that I've heard stories about who don't do their jobs, and you're sitting there going, "This just happened. Where the fuck's security?" kind of moment. It's a what the fuck moment. Biggest one that I can say that I as a event goer have seen. There's this company called Andy Frame Security. They have the ticket to the. They've got the KFC Yum Center out here. That's one of their venues. Well, their security guards don't handle their jobs at all. Like, WWE was in town. I'm a big wrestling fan. I love wrestling. WWE was in town, and there's a no flash photography, no videoing of any kind policy. And I think this was Monday Night Raw, too. There was the Louisville show, and then we had Monday Night Raw. I've gone to both. I absolutely loved going to Raw live. I'm a big wrestling fan. I love wrestling. So during the Louisville show, which it was just them doing quick matches, practicing sort of deal. Nothing was taped or anything.
House match.
Yeah, house match.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm all about those.
Exactly, it was a house match. There's a no videoing, no photography rule, right?
Oh yeah, especially in a house match.
Andy Frame did not give a fuck. They didn't. I saw several people recording. One guy even went live on Facebook at one point. And security did fuck all about it.
Wow.
And you're looking at a guy who's security, you know. And actually, the night of that house match, it was me, my dad, and my stepmom. Funnily enough, I had just gotten off shift from a security event down at the Bat Stadium. I was working down there. So I had just gotten off shift, so I still had my hat and all of my stuff. It was all sitting in my backpack, but I still had it, you know?
Right.
So I'm sitting here going, what the fuck? Why isn't security doing anything? They legitimately, this company did not give two fucks about the fact that venue rule was broken. Because it said you will be asked to delete the footage and you will be removed from the arena. They did nothing.
And for people that don't know what a house match is, it's basically the upcoming wrestlers that is trying to make a name for themselves to get into the venue.
That or say like, and I'll use these four divas as an example. Say Leah Ripley, Bianca Belair, Nikki AHS, and Carmella. They were practicing a match. House matches are also, of course, you're right. Yeah, it's for the up and comers, but they're also used for like title match practices.
Yes, they are.
And this was a title match practice. And this dude, hello.
Hello, Farron.
Hello, Mr.
149.
But this guy during that practice match legitimately went on his phone and went live on Facebook. And the security company did fuck all about it. That is me as a security guard made me want to stand up and kick him out of the venue myself.
Yeah.
I would have.
I could have, but my shit was in my backpack. And my backpack was in the car, so I didn't have any of my security gear on. So
Well, you could also get a hold of the roadies and they could escort them out.
That too, yeah. Now I will say that during Raw, when Raw was here in Louisville, the Andy Frame was on their game. Cause it was fucking live.
Yeah.
But that's also where it's kind of a little bit more relaxed on like taking pictures and the recording a little bit. If you want to send stuff to your family, it's a little bit more lax.
Yeah. Usually live events will let you do the filming.
Yeah. I've on the topic of security and like wrestling and all that, because it's kind of cool. I've gone to SmackDown. I got to see SmackDown in the front row. Being that close to the superstars is actually really fucking cool.
Yeah. I used to be a wrestling person, and then the crew that I used to watch, one of the guys I used to watch actually got taken out, so I stopped watching it.
Who was it?
Mr. Kennedy?
Oh.
Yeah. But so definitely, I know different companies have different ways of handling things, but when it's stated by the event management or the tour management that this is not allowed, it is not fucking allowed. Point blank, plain and simple.
Yeah. Security need to pay attention to all that as well.
Yeah, I don't give a shit if you're working as an usher, if your primary job is security and that's what your name tag says. You're fucking security.
Yeah.
It does not matter. Hitting on that point of the no recording kind of rule. Not sure how many of you guys know who Ron White is in this chat.
I don't.
I heard of him.
They call him Tater Salad Ron White. I told a story earlier about a guy that got dragged out from his show. Another instance that happened is Ron didn't want anybody recording. Ron's getting ready to retire. He didn't want anybody recording his shit. Fair enough. So we had a no flash photography, no recording. Well, this lady didn't listen, or this someone didn't listen, and they were in the front row, and Ron saw them. Ron White looked at them and said, "Hey, quit fucking recording. Live in the fucking moment. Stop recording." It's one of the most interesting things. Okay, slightly more notable comedian, also actor, you guys probably know him, Nick Offerman.
The name's
Nope.
so familiar.
He played Ron Swanson on the Parks and Rec. He was in town a couple years ago. This was before I was working for the company. He was in town, and he doesn't have a tour manager. So, and this was told to me by my boss. So, the operations manager, Bradley, went to go meet with the tour manager, and it ended up being Ron White himself, or not Ron White, Nick Offerman himself. So Nick basically just said, "Do what you guys normally do," but during that show, someone heckled and said, "Are you a part of the Illuminati?" And they at first thought it was part of the bit, until Nick didn't respond, and security jumped into action and got the guy removed.
Well, that's good.
Yes, and like I said, this was before I was working for the company, so I wasn't on shift. But those kind of things happen. Speaking of, let's quickly talk about the age policy for security. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but depending on the company, there is an age limit. So unless you work for a theme park, the age limit is 18. You have to be 18 to be a security guard. You have to be a legal adult. And I think it's fantastic. The main reason being, nobody's going to listen to a 16, 17-year-old kid telling them to do something, number one.
Nope.
Any of you look me in my eyes and tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm not. I wouldn't.
No, I don't know anybody would.
Yeah.
No. Exactly. So the age limit is 18, and I've got a lot of people going, "Well, but what if I really want to and I get approval, da 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 da?" No. You have to be 18 to be a security guard or a loss prevention associate. And everybody's always like, "But that makes zero sense." And I'm like, "You're right, it doesn't make any sense. But it's the way it is." Like, and the other reason, sorry,
No, you're good. Go on.
the other main reason is if you have to go hands-on with somebody as a security guard, it's adult on adult. But if it's a minor, the venue gets in trouble for minor safety violations. That person can go to jail for assault on a minor instead of assault on adult. The parents can get fined for neglect. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's why the age limit is 18. It's the whole fucking reason. Trust me, it pissed me off at first too until I realized this is a safety thing.
And in the state of New York, and I can only speak for New York because it's the only state I know of. You can't get your security guard card until you're the age of 18 anyways. because I went through security guard training when I was 17 and had to wait a full year until I was 18 to register for my card. So just another thing to add on to what you're saying.
You're exactly right. In my state, it's not really that way. Kentucky doesn't require an armed or a guard card unless it's a certain city. Like my city, Louisville, doesn't give a shit about an unarmed guard card. They truly don't. The only thing they care about is that armed guard, which is 21. But most companies aren't going to hire you on as an armed guard unless they're like Garda or whatever, if you don't already have security experience. Which is why it's great that while you're 18, you can get those 3 years of unarmed guard experience before you get your armed guard card. But yeah, no, I hadn't stopped to think about different states. I know it's different everywhere. Shit, Texas, you actually have to go through the Texas Department of Public Safety to get a guard card.
Mhm. I don't know much about armed security training in New York State, but yeah, I've only got unarmed.
Right.
And the kind of a stupid fact about New York State and security guard training is you can go through the class for free, pretty much, but you have to pay up to $75 to order your card.
Yeah. That's absolutely fucking stupid, but it's New York.
Yep, and there's probably taxes on that too. So.
Oh no! You wanna talk about pure fucking stupidity? Security's my side job. I'm a licensed pharmacy technician for my state.
Okay.
Every fucking March, without fail, you have to pay $25 a year to renew your card. I don't know, to renew your list. I don't know how it is in different states, but I know for my state, it's every year.
In New York State, your card expires, I believe, within a year from your training, but you have to redo the training every year.
Right.
Then
But that's...
I think the fee's a one-time thing, but every year, when your training's up, you have to sit through the 8-hour training.
Which, I wouldn't mind doing that. That's not that bad. You know, hey, the fee's a one-time fee. You don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yep.
But to pay $25 every year for a fucking technician's license that I don't use much kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys are wondering in chat why I just don't let the technician license go and expire, I can't. Unfortunately, my job, the main job I do, I work and I'm classified as a pharmacy technician even though I'm up front. So if there's ever something in the pharmacy, I have to have my license back there so I can go back there and help out. Because otherwise the company gets in trouble if I don't, and I get fired.
Oof.
And I'm not looking to lose a cushy job.
And guys, like Blue Eyes has stated in the chat, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in chat, either to myself or Blue Eyes Gaming. We'll be sure to state them out loud to get your questions answered. This is all about learning, guys. Once again, we're here just to kind of learn and have a little bit of fun. enjoy ourselves, relax. We do enjoy you guys popping in, asking questions, and obviously making sure that and you guys do understand that we are here to do fun and to help people learn. Um, so keep on, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask. If you haven't already, make sure you guys go ahead and sub to the YouTube channel. Join the Discord, joining the events that are going on. Um, and yeah, go ahead and follow up with all the links down below of the partners that we do have at this time. Along with coming in here, chatting with us, and asking questions. I know right now we're not really answering. You're not really talking too much to with the chat. Answering anything within the chat. But we do see on what you guys are saying. It's just we're trying to also make sure Ben has enough time to put out this topic as well. So we, as a first responder base, know that it's done in either way. And as you guys can see now, Mr. 149 has decided to turn on his cam, and he looks like he's 12 years old. So as we were going on, Ben, I'm sorry, I wanted to make sure I made that little announcement real fast to everyone.
No, yeah, definitely. Actually, I do have, I do have a few more policies, but before we do that, I do. If you guys have any questions for me as a security guard that from first responders from fire or that you want to know an answer to because you don't know what it is, please ask me. I actively will. I do have answers 9 times out of 10. I know one of the biggest questions that people have asked me personally is, what do you do if somebody's injured at your venue? The main response to that is if we can, we get them outside. If depending on the injury, we get them outside or we take them to the back room, and if we have 2 shows going on, so the other show has has EMS, because we have a private EMS company usually. We have EMS walk over, and they'll come check on that person. If it's severe enough, we call 911, and we'll have an actual ambulance, because we can't have our other medics, going off site if we need them for another emergency.
We have 2 questions here in the chat. This one's from Zeno. While working every licensed security guard and or private investigator individuals must always carry on them.
If you're asking what the 2 biggest things we must always carry, if we're licensed, it's our license, and if you're armed, your handgun. And this was told to me by the owner of K&K Security, where she had to have this happen. One of her guards forgot his handgun at home, so she had to go cover his shift because he could not work without having a handgun. So those are the 2 biggest things: license, and if you're armed, your weapon at all times.
Now, as a security personnel, are are you guys allowed to also carry like pepper spray and tasers, or does that fall underneath the um security
Launch.
guard?
As regular security, the answer is no. Um, it also does depend on the company, but as regular old plain security, the answer is no. I cannot. Armed security, and especially again, this depends on the company. Like if I worked for K&K, I've actually talked to the owner. I can carry tasers, pepper spray, and if for whatever reason I need them, handcuffs. I can have all of that and a vest on me. But unlicensed, no. And again, it will depend on the state.
Okay.
But regular security, the answer is always no.
Another question is in from Miss Wildstyle. How many takedowns have you done?
Um, takedowns personally for me has been 3, and that's 3 in 3 years, by the way, that I've been doing security. So I can de-escalate situations where I don't have to deal with it. I've had, like I said, I had the mass group ejection. I've had another mass group ejection, and I think the one time I got really close to going hands-on, a drunk guy was being extremely disrespectful to me and my coworkers, and he looked ready to swing, and had he swung, I would have knocked him out. But typically, I don't go hands-on if I do not have to. I do want to point out that I also actually have the chat up myself, so I can get your guys' questions as well. So if you see me reading, that's kind of what I'm doing. Zeno, I've noticed you asked, during a patrol, a security guard finds an unauthorized person on the premises, which they are hired to protect. When the security guard asks the individual to leave, the person refuses. So if the person refuses, we can ask him 2 more times, and if he still refuses, at that point he's trespassing, and we call the police on him, and we have him arrested for trespass. I noticed you asked about when we are using our notebooks, how should you record your notes. I personally don't take notes with my jobs doing what I do. But if I had to take notes, the way I would do it specifically is I do shorthand. I would shorthand the notes, and then later on in the full report, I would write out the full details. But I'd have the shorthand. You've also said, while patrolling and using the powers of observation, which are the following examples that a security guard should notice during their shift duration. If fences are not, if gates that are normally closed aren't closed, you want to check that out. Sounds of people being in an area they're not supposed to be, you want to check that out. Always have your head on a swivel, especially if you're doing armed and you're protecting somewhere where where people try to rob and shit. Keep your head on a swivel at all times, because you never know. You said, which of the following describes why security guards must be aware of the bylaws within the community they protect? Because if we don't, and we didn't, we could be fired. And our company can get sued and shut down for it. I see you've asked, during an incident of a fire that occurred on a floor of a building, which the following statement should not be included in the report. Sir, that is more of a fire question, honestly, than a security question. Because I, as a guard, do not deal with fires that much, especially in my venues, because we have a full no smoking policy and we haven't had any issues like that. Jobs as a licensed security guard that I can't perform. I can't do anything in a police officer's capacity without also being a LEO. Lot of people don't realize that LEOs, when off duty, can be security guards. They do it. Two types of tort liabilities. See, now you're asking me stuff that I actually do not
Yeah.
know.
With that fire question, maybe 149 can kind of jump in here on this. I know, we're not gonna obviously just kind of BS our way through the call, and we really don't do a report necessarily, at least on a exterior and interior report. The chiefs are the main ones that do that. So we really don't know on too much of that. At least I don't. 149.
What was the question?
Hold on here. Let me pull it back up here.
It's during an incident of a fire that occurred on a floor of a building. Which of the following statements should not be included in a report?
So with mine and Matt's department, the reports we give, we actually call them truck log sheets. So when we get back to the fire hall and after we get everything put back into service, whoever was riding in the passenger seat of whatever trucks responded have to fill out just basic information, what truck it was, the date of the incident, stuff like that. Who was on the truck, what members were in full SCBA, and just the basic gist of what occurred on the call. So, like, for example, we had a barn fire this past Tuesday. I was in the passenger seat of the first truck out. So, what I put in my report was that it was on the truck, so there was myself, another interior, 2 exteriors, and a junior. Correction, 1 exterior, a junior, and the driver. And so in the gist of what occurred, I put that we were dispatched to the barn fire. The main body of the barn was fully involved when we got there. We were able to save a shop portion of the barn, and that was pretty much it. So there really isn't much to my departments, or our departments, I should say, reports. The chiefs and that stuff do have to do a little bit more of a detailed report on everything. I'm not a chief, or haven't seen those reports, so I can't really comment on those ones. But yeah, it's pretty much what goes into our report.
Okay, Zeno, I see this question for within the security industry. And you are absolutely correct. We must always keep in mind that people may have health issues not known to us. But your last question that I saw before you've asked a couple more, that's kind of going to be my last question for this. And then I'm going to hit, and I'm probably actually going to get off because I've got other stuff I need to do. But this is definitely the question I kind of want to end it on. Within the security industry, there are many types of security services. Which of the following would best describe contract security agencies? Contract is it's actually depending on the type of contract. It can be a whole team. It can be a single. They're mostly freelance companies, or freelance armed companies, or freelance unarmed. And I know that personally because of the company that I want to work for. She's got contracts all over, so that's kind of what it is. She's a contract freelance agency. She's not tied down to one specific contract. She can have more than one. But that is definitely a very good question. So there is that for you guys. Matt, Iceman, Farron, I want to thank you guys for having me tonight. Honestly, I hope I've answered some of your guys' questions.
Absolutely.
Matt, no, sorry, I was gonna say Matt, Farron, or Iceman. If you guys have any last minute questions you want to ask me that I can probably answer in 30 seconds or less, I will gladly answer one.
I'm gonna just real fast jump in. Just a quick note here. In the near future, we're going to be doing a Q&A podcast. I am going to request that, obviously all first responders are there, including yourself, if you wouldn't mind. That will be noted, later on once we actually get everything situated for that. I don't have any further questions myself. Blue Ice Gaming or 149, do any of you guys have any last minute questions?
No, I'm good.
Nope.
Alright.
I do want to say I apologize for not being here until so late. I know me and you talked a little bit about
Yeah.
your topic. And thank you for coming out.
Alright,
Yeah,
guys.
of course, guys.
And I think this is going to be exactly where we're going to end this live for tonight. Guys, I do want to say thank you again to everyone who has participated in the lives. Make sure you guys like, comment, share. Let us know what you guys are looking for the next podcast. And also come and join the Discord. It's not only for first responders, it's also for normal civilians. Everyone is welcome, so come on in, come join us, let's have some fun, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.